Did Timbermaw get the axe with Dazer? Yeah, Dazer and Timbermaw are no longer in the guild. Timber, I kind of feel bad about, and I'll tell you why. When you're asking people to do the race, you're asking them to do something that's like, the level that's required is a level that they may have never had to play at before. So typically when you see someone in their first raid, you want them to be doing what they do best to get them the best chance of doing this. Like, no matter who a player is, if you want them to succeed at this level, in their first raid, they should definitely play their main and put them in situations to succeed. Don't ask a player to do something that's out of their comfort zone if you can. Because, you know, no matter how good you are at this game, it's very common when you get to this level that someone is good enough, could be good enough to raid in Liquid on exactly one spec. Or maybe one class. Or maybe multiple classes. But usually the multiple classes happens over time. It's very rare, actually. In fact, like, basically doesn't happen where, like, someone could just do the race right away and then is also able to multi-class whatever you want. That's like completely absurd. Like that barely ever happens / doesn't really happen. What can be disguised as that is what will likely be the case is someone is like doing it, but they're doing it a little worse, right? So like Timber, I don't think mained Evoker, and Evoker was just really good, and that just happened to be what he played. And then he ended up basically not killing any boss in the raid and then just having to come in on Dimensius, one of the hardest bosses of all time, on a non-main, on a healer, which healing is by far the hardest role. Like, for example, if you would have played this tier out differently and he was our like 5th healer coming into the tier, but then we ended up using him on a class he's really familiar with, would he have done better? Certainly. Would that have been enough to cross the bar of like we wanted to keep him? I don't know, but I know that he didn't necessarily get the fairest shake, but I also, you know, obviously we saw enough to where we thought we would. I mean, clearly we decided to, we had like a change of heart with healing philosophy. We've tried to recruit healers for years. It's impossible. So what does our healer roster look like right now? It's people you know, Dryny, Nick, Zasevi, and then Smacked has been healing for a few tiers, and now Boomy is healing. So like 3 of those players are not healer mains. They are really good players that are healing because it's impossible to find healers. Obviously they enjoy it to some level, but like we literally are just, we had a change of heart where we're like, okay, recruiting healers is this really fucked thing where like it's the hardest thing to recruit for. And maybe the biggest thing is like you're never really training to be in a position like this by healing in other guilds. Usually if you are standing out to be recruited, you're usually healing with some people who aren't very good. Player A, just as good as player B, but player A raids in a guild that's decent with 3 stinker healers or 2, and guy B raids in this like a very similar guild, but the other healers are just good. Player B looks a lot worse and is harder to recruit, you know, because like they just don't stick out as much. So like you have to learn how to like fit within a role of a good healing team, which requires making some sacrifices, and not all people are used to that. And then it's also just healing an end boss week 1 is just, your play matters so much for the guild's consistent progression that your individual play is just, it has a magnifying glass on it, similar to a tank. And recruiting people, you kind of expect any healer, even one that's good enough to play in your guild, it's going to take them a tier or 2 to really be consistent because it's just so hard. So we're like, okay, we could recruit someone and find someone to do that. Or what does our DPS look like if Boomy isn't DPSing? Okay, we can move this guy here. We can do this. This guy gets more playing time. And if Boomy's open to it, maybe we have him do this. He's open to it. He's trying it. He's doing it in testing and committed to it. It's like, okay, well, we know he's going to do well. So like basically just like shifting a bunch of your focus into one area with your good players and trying to make it work. We'll see how that goes. It's gone really well for us recently. Smacked has been great for us. Zevi going healer has been great for us. Are we going to see any frauds without add-ons? It depends on the guild skill level. I've kind of gone back and forth with that. I don't think you're going to see at the high level, you're going to see any frauds. Because like there is this really interesting thing where we've basically asked these players that are playing at the highest level to not think about as much as they can during a raid fight, let add-ons handle it, and then you focus on just your personal play. And this is all in the effort of just playing as good as you can. And we care about winning, so this is the objective correct decision. Does it have some drawbacks that you're less aware of your surroundings sometimes because simply every time you're tasked with something difficult there, you require something else to do it for you, or most of the time? Yes. Now, at the same time, there are people in our guild who were really good at that and maybe overperformed because they were really good at not only using tech, but personalizing tech to actually help them, which a lot of people don't do. And then there are people in our guild who's played with basically default UI, 0 weak auras, no tech for years, and they've done fine. Now, every single one of those players would have done better had they just utilized that stuff. Every single one of them would have been, right? However, are those players going to initially overperform in this scenario? Maybe. But just in general, across all players in the game, using tech to your advantage is just solving a problem. The problem is I need to deal with this more consistently, or I need to play better. How do I do that? Okay, quickly solving problems. That's what makes anyone good at this game, right? So I believe those people who were really good at problem solving are going to just find a new way to solve the problem, because that's why they did that in the first place. So that being said, I mean, guys, all I'm going to say, next tier, when the Race to World First is finally, like, we're in Mythic and it's being streamed, there's going to be just one of the most fire Reddit threads of all time. And it's going to be a clashing of the narratives that have been happening. So, like, you see some narratives every now and then, and it's like, yeah, you fucking pros are getting brought down to reality. You guys are... Yeah, welcome to the even playing field, buddy. You've got those people that are basically preying on the downfall of all players better than them, because the reason they've been better than them in the past is because they're using all this cheesy bullshit that they think is going away. So you have those people, and they're going to be, like, ready to watch this shit. All those people over the years that have been like, Max, without weak auras, how many pulls does this boss take? Those kind of people. All right. Now, that alone is going to be a movie, and it already kind of is. But when those people see all of the things that you can still do in-game, it's just going to be a fucking movie. I don't really know what to tell you. Like, they're going to be watching a stream ready to fucking cheer on the downfall of all this stuff being away, and then they're going to see stuff on their screen that still largely resembles every add-on they've seen over the past 10 years. And they're just going to... I just don't know how it's going to go, but I can tell you it's going to be a fucking movie. It's going to be an absolute crazy fucking movie on Reddit when this raid happens.